I didn't grow up believing in ghosts, spirits, demons, curses, none of that. But everything changed the night I started seeing the man in the static. My name's Daniel. I'm a 27-year-old electrician working in a small repair shop in Ohio. The story I'm about to tell you, I still struggle to believe it myself, even though I saw it all with my own eyes. It started on a Tuesday evening. I came home after a long day of fixing office lights and malfunctioning generators. The sky outside was dark, the wind was cold, and my old apartment building creaked loudly with each gust. Inside, my place was the same as always. Small, cramped, cluttered with repair tools and dusty furniture. As usual, I tossed my keys onto the table and turned on my TV for background noise. The screen flickered. Nothing unusual, my cable was terrible. But then the flickering grew worse, and the screen turned into complete static. White noise. Snow. I grabbed the remote and smacked it. Nothing. The static grew louder, then lower, almost like whispering. I frowned. TVs don't whisper. I stepped closer, narrowing my eyes. And then I saw it. A face. A pale face pressed against the static. The man's outline appeared through the noise as if he were standing behind a frosted window. His eyes were sunken, hollow and black. His mouth was slightly open, frozen in a twitching half-smile. The static distorted his shape, making him appear taller, thinner, wrong. I stumbled back so hard I hit my chair. Within seconds, the face faded, gone as fast as it appeared. The TV returned to normal programming. What the hell? I blamed exhaustion. I had barely slept the last 2 nights. But the next night, things got worse. I was brushing my teeth when I heard it again. The static. Loud and harsh, like someone turning a dial way past maximum volume. I walked into the living room, toothbrush still in my mouth. The TV had turned itself on. The screen showed pure snow again. But this time, the man appeared clearer. His head slowly tilted to the side as if acknowledging my presence. His eyes, if he had any, were barely visible inside the dark voids of his eyes. Then he lifted his hand. I jumped as the static hand pressed against the inside of the screen, like he was trying to push through. The lights in my apartment flickered. My clock flashed on and off. The air turned ice cold. Then, through the static, a voice emerged. Not a whisper now, a low, glitching growl. "Do you see me, Daniel?" My blood froze. I didn't touch anything. I didn't say a word. I just stood there shaking. He spoke again, slower this time. "I've been watching." The moment he finished speaking, my TV shut off. The room fell silent. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning at work, my coworker Jordan noticed the bags under my eyes. "You look like hell, man. You need sleep." I wanted to tell him what happened. But how do you explain something like that without sounding insane? So I lied. Just tired. "Dude, go home early. Finish whatever that weird project is you've been doing." I shrugged it off, but I left an hour early. Something inside me told me I needed to check on my apartment. When I got home, the TV was on again. Static. The remote sat on top of the fridge. There was no way it turned on accidentally. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Do not turn around. My heart nearly burst out of my chest. I didn't move. The static behind me grew louder, deeper, almost like a growl. Another text. "He is behind you." I refused to turn. My whole body trembled, cold sweat running down my neck. The air shifted. Something moved behind me. Then a long, bony hand brushed the back of my neck. I bolted out of the apartment, sprinting down the hallway and out into the cold night. I didn't even lock my door. I stayed at a cheap motel that night. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that pale, static face. The next day at work, I returned to my apartment with 2 coworkers, Jordan and Mike, after begging them to come with me. They teased me nonstop on the way there, but when we opened the door, the humor drained from their faces. Every electronic device in my apartment was turned on, all showing static. Even the microwave. The TV speakers crackled. Then his voice filled the room. "Daniel." We all jumped. Jordan cursed loudly. Mike dropped his coffee. My TV screen flickered, and the man appeared again. More visible than ever before. His face was fully formed now. The long neck, the sharp cheekbones, the deformed smile. Jordan whispered, "Is this a video effect?" "No, it's not." The static man lifted his long hand again, pressed it against the inside of the screen. This time, the glass cracked. We ran out of the apartment. None of us wanted to stay another second. I called my landlord and demanded to break my lease early. He said fine. He'd been getting complaints about weird power surges anyway. That night, I slept at Mike's place. Around 3:12 a.m., Mike shook me awake. "Dude, I think your phone is ringing." I looked at it. Unknown caller. I answered with shaking hands. The voice on the other end was distorted, glitchy, familiar. "Why did you leave?" My heart felt like it stopped. I hung up immediately. Mike stared at me, pale. "What the hell was that?" I told him everything. This time he believed me. We stayed awake the rest of the night. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house in the countryside. No electronics in my old childhood room except a lamp and a wooden dresser. No TV, no laptop, nothing. Nothing he could use. I thought I was safe. I wasn't. That night around 3:58 a.m., the lamp flickered. The old radio in the living room turned on by itself, blasting static. I walked slowly to my bedroom door, shaking. Downstairs, the radio grew louder. Then, I heard footsteps. Heavy. Slow. Controlled. Someone was walking through the living room. I called out, "Dad? Mom?" No answer. My breath turned shallow. Because I knew those footsteps weren't my parents' steps. They were too slow, too heavy, too deliberate. I peeked over the stair railing. The radio played static. Through the static, his voice spoke, "I found you." I ran into my bedroom and slammed the door. My lamp exploded. The air went cold. Then, a soft scratching at my bedroom door, followed by a whisper, "Don't ignore me." I curled into a corner praying for daylight. When morning came, I told my parents we had to leave the house. I didn't explain. They didn't need to. They could feel something was wrong. I drove back to the city, desperate for answers. I talked to tech experts, paranormal researchers, electricians. No one had ever heard of anything like this. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't human. It wasn't bound to a location. It traveled through electronics, through static, through frequencies. And it wanted me. 2 weeks have passed since that night. I threw out every electronic I owned. I don't use a TV. I don't use a laptop. I barely use my phone except for emergencies. But last night, as I lay in bed,